Oh boy. What's up guys? Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. In today's video, I'm reviewing the 7Hz Zero 2. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So, here we go. This is going to be a big one. The original 7Hz Soundnotes Zero was one of the biggest IEMs of the year. Was it this year? Yeah, pretty sure it was this year. Anyway, it's huge. So it's hardly surprising that people are excited to learn about the new Zero 2 here. Now, once again, I think it's a collab with Crinacle, but what isn't these days? Anyway, that's the box. Let's get a look at the IEMs, and there they are. If you're familiar with the original, you'll be able to tell right away that the shape or the shell hasn't changed, but there are some new colorways available, and this is one of them. We've got these nice icy blue transparent shells now. I think they look pretty sweet. The orange one looks nice too. But just like the original Zero, I find these nice and comfortable. I can wear them all day long. Now, this cable has supposedly been upgraded or improved. It's pretty much the same as the old one, really. It's just a little bit more supple, but apart from that, they are about the same, except look, isn't it pretty cool? Anyway, enough with that. I haven't told you the price yet, and just like the old model, the Zero 2 is a cool $25, and inside we've got a single dynamic driver. Apparently the driver has been upgraded. I think I remember reading that somewhere. So that's all I know about it, really. An upgraded driver, same shells, different colorways, different tuning. So let's talk about that new sound that we've got going on. Now, the 7Hz Zero 2 has a warmer, more fun sound signature compared to the original Zero, and I think this new tuning is going to appeal more to more general consumers, but it might leave fans of the original sound feeling a little bit sullied. That is, unless they specifically wanted more fullness in the sound. And we'll throw up a graph here. Now, talking about the bass, with the Zero 2, the bass takes center stage, embodying a newfound depth and resonance. Its expansion in both the sub-bass and mid-bass regions crafts a warmer, more enveloping sound signature. The sub-bass, which is now richer and more pronounced, lends extra weight to the lower frequencies, but it doesn't overpower the overall tonal balance. And as a result of that increased sub-bass, the Zero 2 is now capable of some pretty serious sub-bass rumble. Simultaneously, the mid-bass is assertive as well. It's got a nice confident thump. It is still controlled and articulate, and contributes to that rounder, more full-bodied rendition, but you can really feel the bass in this new model. So this new bass establishes a nice meaty foundation for the mids and the treble. It underpins the musicality with the satisfying note weight and depth. And that extra bass is really fun for certain genres of music like electronic and hip-hop. It also works well for jazz and well, anything really, if you were looking for more bass presence compared to the original. Onto the mid-range now, and the mids of the Zero 2 maintains its demeanor while accommodating the bass's newfound richness. There's a warmth that permeates through instruments and vocal timbres, resulting in a nice natural tonality. And this enhanced bass presence, it seeps into the lower mid-range a bit, lending instruments a weightier, more organic resonance. But I wouldn't say it really doesn't bleed, I guess, but it is much more upfront relative to the mid-range than it was in the original version. I'll do a proper comparison with the other one in a minute. Vocals are assertive and clear, and while they are not the main focus, they feel real without taking attention away from the instruments playing behind them. And this relationship between the bass and the mid-range engenders a warm and emotional presentation. Now, in terms of treble, the Zero 2 charts a different course, diverging from the original's treble emphasis. And here the treble is characterized by a more gentle and smooth demeanor. It treads lightly with a moderated presence, especially in that 4 kHz to 8 kHz spectrum. And this more laid-back treble creates a mellower, less forward and fatigue-free presentation, but without really sacrificing clarity. And despite this, the treble shines through, still giving tracks some airiness and even a little hint of sparkle here and there. Now finally, when we get to the soundstage and technicalities, the soundstage has moderate dimensions, not particularly wide, but has pretty commendable depth. And it performs well in terms of layering and imaging, allowing for good instrument separation and overall resolution. It might not compete with more expensive models in terms of soundstage expansiveness, but it is pretty impressive considering its price point, especially I think the imaging is pretty solid here. Alright, so it's time for a couple of comparisons, and what else would I be starting with than the original Zero? Let's get rid of that cable for a second. So here you can see Blue Twins. These are surprisingly the same price. They are both $25, so you're not paying any extra for this newer model. The Zero original has less bass presence and more lift in that 4 kHz to 8 kHz range, and the result is a thinner but a more detailed and high fidelity sound compared to the Zero 2. The Soundnotes Zero original sounds cleaner and more spacious, but it's also potentially more fatiguing as well, because it leans slightly towards brighter. And the original Zero again has less bass depth but more emphasis on vocals, and this gives it a more intimate sound and diminished soundstage dimensions. So I would say maybe slightly less width in there and a little bit less depth as well than the new one. And as a result of that extra reserved bass and the added treble, the original Zero here has better detail retrieval. I think those looking for fidelity and a more pristine sound will appreciate the original Zero, but if you're looking for something a bit more fun with a strong bass impact, you'll get a kick out of the Zero 2's boosted lows. So if you were a fan of the original and you were just thinking, a bit more bass would be nice, well, the Zero 2 does have more bass, but as a result, if you change one of the fundamentals, everything changes. So listening to the original Zero, it's got a more high fidelity sound. It sounds more audiophile tuned, whereas the Zero 2 has a more generalized sort of consumer tuning. A bit similar to how it was with the original Moondrop Chew and the Chew 2. And with that as our segue, let's do a comparison with the Moondrop Chew 2. Now the Chew 2 here, it's a few dollars cheaper, I believe. I think it's around $19, so it's a bit cheaper. It shares some similarities with the Zero 2, but ultimately they sound quite different, and several factors contribute to these distinctions. A slight reduction in sub-bass presence coupled with added richness in the lower mid-range, alongside increased prominence in the 3 kHz to 8 kHz range. And the result of that, well, the Chew 2 doesn't hit as hard in the sub-bass, and nor does its metal shells facilitate the same amount of physical rumble that you feel physically in the Zero 2. Moreover, the Chew 2 has a more forward and vibrant vocals, whereas the Zero 2 maintains a more even tonal balance. And these are both great IEMs. I personally prefer the Zero 2 for that tangible bass impact. However, I do love the small tiny metal shells of the Chew 2 here, and sometimes it's nice for those more forward and vibrant vocals. So I would say the Chew 2 and the Zero 2 are more alike, and the original Zero here is the outlier in this group of IEMs. This one, like I said, a bit more pristine, high fidelity type of tuning, but potentially more fatiguing, whereas the other two are a bit more fun, and the 02 in particular has got some pretty kick-ass bass. So let's sum it up now. The 7Hz 02. Look, I think this is a good IEM. Like I said, I think more people, more general consumers will like the sound of this one compared to the original. However, if you loved the original Zero for its clarity, its spaciousness, and its transparency, then this might not be your cup of tea exactly. But however, it is a good IEM nonetheless, and I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, thumbs up, Parfam audiophile style, and if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content. And until next time, I'll see you later.